What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mike Rashid. Once again, excuse my voice. This is probably the 5th video you've heard me with my voice sounding like a little girl. I just haven't gotten better yet because I've been traveling a lot, not sleeping much, but I get the rest for like a week next week, so I'm excited about that. So right now I'm in Sacramento, California. Was invited out by someone's becoming a pretty good friend of mine and someone I respect and look up to, Mark Bell. We're at his gym, his facility is called Supertraining. Supertraining is by far the strongest gym in the West.
I'm Mark Bell, and we're at Supertraining Gym here in West Sacramento, California. And I had the pleasure today to work with Mike Rashid, who's a real beast. He's a lean guy, about 230, 235 pounds. And we were able to work with him on the bench press. What I like about Mike is he came in with what I like to call a white belt mentality, where you just kind of just realize, you know what? I don't know shit about this type of thing. I don't know a ton about powerlifting. I'm just gonna go in there, I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna pay attention, and hopefully I'll come out the other end learning some new things, which he did.
So what we did today, we did pretty much a powerlifting session on the bench press. Now, as many of you know, I'm gunning for a 500-pound bench press, and I got a lot of work to do. I'm kind of off right now, so the progressions are a lot different than what I'm typically used to. So what I did when I came in was I threw out everything that I know, and I was totally open to learn, you know, what Mark and Silent Mike had to share with me and to teach me.
The great thing about working with someone like Mike is he's a good athlete, and so with a great athlete, you're able to just show them something one time, they're able to pick it up. One of the issues is when you're talking about powerlifting is it's very, very difficult. You're not gonna learn, doesn't matter how good of an athlete you are, you're not gonna learn the proper technique with the heavy weights on day one. So even though he was able to come away with a lot of tips for the day on strength training, on powerlifting in general, you're not gonna walk away with the absolute best way to lift the heaviest amount of weight, because it takes your body a long time to get used to those new patterns of movement. And so it's gonna take a period of time for him to handle those heavy weights and to practice that form. He's gonna have to do it time and time and time again.
You know, I typically don't stretch. I like to warm up through movements, but I did get a nice stretch in, and it felt fucking amazing, actually. And that's something that I might start implementing in my programming. And also, like, you know, just our progression on the bench was a lot different. We hit fewer reps. Our reps were aimed at explosion. You know, when I typically bench press, y'all all know my first rep is shady, but then I get into a groove, and I feel like I get stronger as I go along. But with powerlifting, that first rep is vital. So you have to go at every rep like your life depends on it. If you look at some good powerlifters, man, how they come out the hole is freaking mind-blowing, you know? So it's not like when I'm benching, my first rep is shady, but I'm like, all right, watch out, I got it now. Nah, you don't have that opportunity in powerlifting. You gotta get it right that first time. You're really hitting your CNS big time. You're going for those heavy, big numbers. We built up to, we never went over, only time we did 10 reps was like the warm-up. But we would do like reps of 5, reps of 3, reps of 1. And I'm not used to doing a set of 1 unless that's all I can get.
We started with the bar, which is very standard here at Supertraining. We went to 135, 185, 225, 275, 315, 365. Once we got over that 365-pound mark, we got up to about 405. He started to slow down the eccentric portion of the lift, the lowering portion of the lift. And he almost did kind of a 2-stage type of bench press. And it's very common, it's very normal for people to do that. They're gonna wanna resist against those weights when the weights are getting heavy. And so he was kind of resistant towards those weights, and then as he got to here, he kind of like let loose and then tried to throw it back up. What people are trying to do is they're trying to take advantage of the stretch reflex. They're trying to get a little bit of momentum and kind of bump those weights off their chest. Not like he was trying to bounce it. He knows better than that. He's been in the sport for too long, been lifting for way too long to bounce it. But sometimes people are just trying to pick up that little extra momentum to kind of carry them through the top. The problem with that is you end up getting loose, your elbows end up kind of getting flared out, and then you have nowhere to go from here. The proper way to bench press, you want to try to take the weight out with your lats. Make sure your legs are planted firmly on the ground. Realize the bench press is a full body movement, not just an upper body movement. It's not just for big pecs. You want to try to make sure that you have your chest up. You want to have your back arched a little bit. But to put it very simply, you want to make sure that your chest is up throughout the entire range of motion. Again, you want to try to pull the weights out of the rack rather than press them out of the rack. So it's going to be hard to break some of those habits, but over a period of time, you get them to keep kind of working on just taking those weights out just the right way, letting those weights, what we like to call, let those weights settle. You almost want to kind of blob out into the bench, let your arms kind of relax and retract into the bench. Then you're going to start to lower the weight. You're trying to tuck your elbows in slightly towards the side. As you come back up, you're going to flare your elbow back out. It's a little bit like a punch. You're trying to bring the elbow in close. As you come back up, you're going to throw the elbow back out. You want the bench press to become a full upper body movement. You want to try to get your entire body into it really, but you want to try to bring the weight down through here and try to be able to get your lats, your triceps, your shoulders, and your chest into the movement.
You know, you have to discipline yourself and not, you know, think with your ego and show everybody what you can do, and train specific to what your goal is. And that's what I learned today.
Once we got to 405, he tended to slow down a little bit. Then we went to 455. He actually kind of missed the first one. I had to guide him through the first one. And then for some weird reason, he's better at rep number 2 than he is rep number 1. And he was able to get rep number 2 by himself. And then we went back down and weight went to about 425. He's pretty gassed out at that point. He's not feeling very good, so that was a little tough for him.
He smoked me on the bench. Mark got up to 525. Like, that's crazy, and he did it fairly easy. And it is very impressive. Yo, I was honored to be on the bench with him, spotting him as he got that number. I never spotted somebody that got that much. I spotted, you know, Big Rob hitting 505, but that was impressive to me. So I love this sport. I love the iron game in general, and this guy is an authority in powerlifting. He's a fucking total badass, what can I say? And you know, he's developed, you know, typically powerlifters you don't hear about too much, but Mark Bell, he, you know, busts through the pack, and you know, he's everywhere. You know, he got Supertraining and the slingshot gear. I started using the slingshot gear a few months ago, and I absolutely love it. You know, today was my first time using an actual slingshot on the bench. After our bench press progression, our raw lifts, we went to some close grip presses with the slingshot, and it felt really fucking good. My shoulders felt really secure and really safe. I didn't have any aches, you know, so his product is really good. It's some kind of reactive, magical material, and it's fucking amazing. So y'all should definitely try it out. I got the link in the description box.
What I realized is that we need to work on his speed. We need to work on his dynamic training. And the way that we do that here at Supertraining, and the way that I was taught from Louis Simmons of Westside Barbell, where I trained for a year in Columbus, Ohio, was to simply use light weights and do them as explosively as possible with bands or chains, and use about 50 to 60% of your max. So in today's case, we actually went pretty light. We used about 225 pounds, and we did about 8 sets of 3 reps. As soon as you get the weight out, as soon as you get the weight posted in your triceps, you want to start to lower right away. You want to be aggressive about it. The way each person lowers the weight is going to be a little different. Everyone's going to have a different comfort zone with how fast they lower the weight. So, you know, not everyone has to drop the weight the way that I do, but you want to work towards you're not always working towards being stronger, you're working towards being better. So you want to see form improvement, and you want to have a ton of force production. You're trying to really put everything you possibly can into the bar. You want to try to fucking break shit when you're bench pressing heavy weights. You want to try to be violent about it. When Mike Tyson was knocking people out left and right, they used to say bad intentions. They would just, in the corner, they kept saying bad intentions, bad intentions. He'd go out and knock the guy out because he was trying to throw every single punch to you know, knock the guy out. Not just to land, he was trying to knock the guy out with every single punch. So same thing here on the bench press. You want to try to apply as much force to every single repetition that you can. And it's a good idea to start with about 50%. Most likely you'll need a little bit more weight than that, but 50% is easy because it's just half. So if you're a 300-pound bencher, you would start with 150 pounds of bar weight and some bands. The bands and the chains help to accommodate the resistance. The weights are lighter at the bottom and they're heavier at the top. When you use a band or a chain, you are absolutely forced to apply more force to the bar. You have to move the weights faster. If you try to move the weights slowly, it's gonna just kind of wear you out much faster. And that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to develop as much speed as we possibly can. So when you're using the bands and the chains, they help to eliminate deceleration of the barbell. If you were to take 150 pounds and you bench press 300, as I mentioned earlier, you would throw 150 pounds almost through the roof. Your body actually, because your body's not stupid, your body's actually gonna kind of slow down as you get towards the top because it doesn't want to hurt some of the smaller joints of the elbow and shoulder. So when you go to throw those weights up as fast as you can, there's gonna be some deceleration that occurs. With the bands or the chains, you can accelerate fast through the entire range of motion to the point where if you were to bench press with bands on the bar, and even 10 pounds on each side, you would bench press more reps in 30 seconds with 65 pounds and the bands on the bar than you would without any weight on the bar and just the bar itself. And that again is because you are just moving so much faster. So it's a good way to train your body, prepare your body for speed training. And with Mike Rashid, if we can get him to commit to about 6 weeks, maybe about 8 weeks of speed training, you're gonna see his bench press shoot up considerably. Even without a ton of heavy training, I think you could probably bench press heavy about every other week. And along with a lot of tricep work and a lot of lat work, I think that you'll see a huge progression in his bench press almost simply just from this speed work.
Listen guys, you're never too smart to learn. The moment you feel like you know it all is the moment you fail, because you close your mind and there's always something out there that you can learn. So I did have an open mind today, and I think powerlifting is very fascinating. I'm a fan of the iron sport in general all around. I respect people who do CrossFit, bodybuild, powerlift, Olympic weightlifting, you name it. If you got a barbell in your hand, you're all right with me. So the foundation of building a structurally sound body is all the same across any genre or discipline of weightlifting. It
was great working with Mike Rashid. We had an awesome time working with him on the podcast. We had a lot of fun with him there. Been just kind of kicking it with him. We've been eating, we've been hanging out. It's unfortunate that he's got a cold, but we've still been chilling, still been hanging out. Look for some videos of Mike Rashid coming up on my YouTube channel, which is YouTube.com/Supertraining06. Also check it out at Supertraining.tv, and look for his upcoming podcast coming up on Mark Bell's Powercast, which is available on iTunes and as well on Supertraining.tv. It's been an honor and a privilege to work with Mike, and look forward to working with him again in the future.
Overall, it was a very humbling experience, and I learned a lot, and I will be implementing a lot of this into my programming. And I think me and Mark should sit down and come together with a Supertraining meets Overtraining program at some point, just to create the ultimate fucking gym beast, you know what I mean? So I think that'd be pretty cool. What y'all think? If y'all like that idea, y'all just let me know. Leave a comment. But I'm really appreciative of them having me out, man. These are some gracious hosts. We did a podcast, it was cool, it was dope, it was fun. These guys are fucking fun to be around. We crack jokes all day long and lift some heavy ass weight, you know what I mean? So can't go wrong with that, because that's what we do at home anyway. We think we funny, so we're telling jokes all day while we're lifting, and that's what it's about. Love what you do and do what you love, you know? So that's exactly what I'm doing out here. So I want to send a big shout out to Mark, Silent Mike, and the whole crew at Supertraining. I love y'all gym, I love the environment, the atmosphere, and I will definitely fucking be back. And once Iron Addict Gym is open, y'all are always welcome to come down and get busy with us. Y'all can come down to Metroflex Long Beach as well. All right, much love y'all, peace.